one.
Okay. Hello. Okay.
Hi.
I think we're live. I think we have sound. If someone in chat tells us we don't have sound, I'll push the button again. Okay. Hello.
We have
Welcome.
sound.
We are live.
I double checked.
Yay. Yes, I know. I saw that it went live. Hopefully, did anyone check the sound? Because
I
that's
did,
the part I'm
yes.
worried about. Okay,
There's
cool.
sound.
There is
Great.
also sound because I'm hearing
Hey,
it twice.
good job.
Hey.
Okay. Hi, Adam. I see you telling me that you hear us, and I appreciate it. All
Thank
right.
you, Adam.
So we are playing not Dumb and Dragons, Spire. Spire tonight. Yes, we're going to kick off with our recap in just a second. And I guess before we do, I forgot again to get any sort of programming list. So I'm presuming
that's
tomorrow
okay.
there's tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's tier tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's helpful, isn't it? Tomorrow,
Oh
Dungeons
no,
and Dragons.
Tears Fates of Rin. Then Tuesday is our lovely own Rachel is going to be doing her own little mini session. It's going to be great.
Teaching you how to teach children how to play D&D.
Ooh.
Or beginners, either, you know.
It's about the same thing.
Children, drunk adults that are new, it's all the same.
Good.
Little.
And then next Wednesday is another Down and Dragons, and then next Thursday is us again. Yay!
Yay.
See, we've fallen into a rhythm now where Sam just does the Goats and Dragons promotional stuff. So when we get our own merch, that's going to be Ava. You know, everyone will have a thing. All right. I think that's it, just as usual. Thanks, Helpful Goat Gaming for letting us play on your channel. And I guess...
Did I just get billed as the merch person?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Because you're the most charming.
We're sponsored by Sour Skittles.
No, don't say that. It's not
No.
Everybody gets to pick one sponsor. Sour Skittles. Okay. All right. So
Andrew Christian.
Is that a person? Can you be sponsored by people? Doesn't have to be like a brand. Who is that?
Let's start our recap. Players, what happened last game?
We cut off a hand.
So much happened. Just so much.
You gotta
So
hand it to
much.
us.
We still didn't go up Spire though.
Nope.
It took like 2 hours.
It's still
It's
Tuesday.
still
folks.
Tuesday. Yep. But it's Tuesday afternoon.
My notes say that I was a bad bean. Hand jokes are in. Amantu was very lame. And Rayan went home. That's what I've got.
Yeah, so Midrai and I chased down the guard, Gary Hitler. And
I thought his name was
we,
Ruby.
yeah, I don't remember. I just remember that we also named him Gary Hitler. I'm sorry.
Rayan, I
Yeah,
believe.
he was ran.
Yes.
Thank you. And we scared and intimidated him, and then I cut off his hand and fed it to Sweet Pea so that she could eat. And that was our big part. Other people did other things that they can, summarize.
Yeah. Going to my notes. Okay. I have that Hennis actually has a fight that's happening really soon.
Yeah. You guys wouldn't be too surprised by that. Like
Who are you
once
fighting?
a
Okay.
week, roughly, I go up Spire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
nice.
to fight?
Usually.
There is a dentist named Gunzy who apparently needs painkillers.
Who uses painkillers because they're also like a healer and have access to those kinds of things. Yes.
Okay, good.
Needs painkillers. Another
wow, I
errand
have so
for
many-
you.
Guys, I have so many pages of notes. I was only on page 2 when I got to that point.
We are polar opposites in notes.
Okay, so I wrote that Kelvy, his initiation was that he was taken to the heart of the Spire, given some blood from some witches in a cave.
Blood witches, yep.
The blood witches, and
That was taken to the cave.
we
Yep.
can't go near
the
Kelvy's blood. I have heard rumors from people of bad trips and such from the same kind of environment in a cave. Hearing colors, seeing sensations, etc., etc. I wrote those caves are called the Viscans.
So the cave it's not a cave, it's like the cave. So
Okay.
I was taken there. There was a fun little ritual that I was forced to partake in, and this VYS for anyone who wants spelling is this mother god that the Viscants, her worshippers, are trying to basically harbinge. We await her coming, because that's gonna be a whole thing where she is like birthed into the world out of people, I think.
Okay,
I
interesting.
wonder if that would affect the eggs at all. Like, should I be more careful about the blood?
Oh.
These are
You should
questions
talk to-
Minrai should think about
You
in
should talk
character.
to what's her face about Marguerite. She
Should
seems
I?
like she would know shit.
I also wrote that the whole reason that Farquaad is trying to do something good, which while he's trying to get the good reputation points, but the way he's doing it is by solely doing something avant-garde, and doing something for the Drow who would do that. Like, ooh, it's so edgy. That's his motivation. By the way, all of us have eaten bread from the people that are making the bread. That apparently,
from the Herald Corporation. Yep.
From the Herald Corporation. Yeah. What else is relevant? I wrote a bunch of stuff about my beliefs on Mama, but I don't think that really applies to any of you guys. And Amandu is now with us on our mission, so that's exciting.
You got masks from him too, right?
Yeah, I got some masks.
Yeah.
I got
and
some
apparently
masks
I'm not
some
going
masks.
up Spire with y'all. I'm staying back here. So.
Oh right.
Oh yeah.
But as long as it's even feasibly in the smallest way possible, I could appear next to one of you.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Magic in this world, maybe teleportation magic. Who knows?
All right. We do need to settle the matter of Calvi's initial roll.
Oh boy. Okay.
Look at that. You're fine.
It's
no
it's
problem.
Fine. Yeah, no mutations today.
That sounds safe and fine.
Okay, so settled on that. Is there any other oh, what am I trying to say? Anything else before we start?
No, I think that we were going to 2 or 3 different places, right?
I was gonna tell somebody about something and I didn't write it down.
Was it about the library? Because I know we had talked.
No, I just talked to Marguerite. Remember? And I was like, and she told me something that I needed. Oh, she told me about how they don't exist. How the no, but then you
yeah, that is like a shell corporation.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know who.
Right.
Yeah, so that if we go up there, they're not like a real organization. But I think you kind of covered it with the Vis thing. I don't remember if I told you that during that conversation or not.
Yeah. So basically we don't know this for certain yet, but the thought is that the Herald Corporation or the Viscant, people in general might be just using that as a front to get this building because it's got
cracks.
Yeah.
Cracks. Okay,
Got
cool. So I'll kind of make sure that that's conveyed between sessions. That's like that happened in like the space and time that we don't see, like the commercial break.
Good.
Where
Okay.
we sell sour Skittles.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
like you guys explicitly talked about it when
Did we?
in the game, because when Kelvy brought up the Vis, it was because of kind of you reporting back a little bit about what you heard from Marguerite. You didn't.
Okay.
You explicitly left out the cracks in the floor.
Yes, I just said that there were things in that were not that were occult, I think is what I said, and I just left it at that.
This D10 won't leave my screen, and I hate it.
Can't you click on it?
Yeah,
Click
it's
it.
not going away. I tried.
You want me
that.
to roll one for you?
Sure.
Roll.
All right, so that is where we left off. Everybody was.
Oh, I don't have the
Yeah, that's okay.
Nice.
Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It'll
got
go
your
away when it needs to.
enable 3.
So we left off with everybody in the apartment, planning. Oh God. These
All
will
these
go.
rolls.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
Did they click or go away?
They went away. They went away. So we left off there. We had Amandu checking on Celavi and Zet, whom you were also helping.
I want to go
get-
with them.
And that's it. So it's right back where we left off. You guys in the apartment. It's the afternoon on. We're calling it Tuesday kind of as a joke because you had a week and Monday being the start of the week. Yeah. So it's Tuesday afternoon, just a normal Tuesday. Where are we going? Who's going where?
I am packing up and getting ready to head up Spire because I need to be places at times.
Yes.
I think we were all going to try and travel together, at
Except
least
for Minrai.
initially.
Yeah,
Except for
I'm
Minrai,
not.
but we were going to try and do. Sorry. We were going to try and do together because it's supposed to be like long and difficult or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, so I'd be trying to like hurry you guys along because I'm almost running late.
Oh, I'm hastily putting my typewriter in my bag.
Barnabas is just an old man, so he's like slowly getting things together.
I'll pack you all lunches, but they have no. It's like sandwiches with no bread because the bread is bad.
You don't trust bread anymore, so you're
Yeah.
just like, here you go.
No more bread. You don't need the carbs anyways. No.
Minrai's on the keto diet.
Yeah, we're all on keto diet now since the bread.
Well, then you
turns
can't have
into
vegetables either.
blood.
So just saying.
All right, we're all on a carbless diet now. A bread carbless, gluten free.
Okay, all right.
Let's not get that bread.
Right. Yeah, just any other Tuesday, isn't it? All right. So who was someone supposed to go with me to see Mr. Inglori, or is that just going to be me?
So Amandu was going up Spire with you with the intent of going wherever you're going because you kind of talked him into it. / he owed you the favor or whatever. So.
But he wasn't going to go with me to see Mr. Inglori.
He seemed very uncomfortable with the fact, but ultimately no other plan was made. So wherever, like, he was gonna go, he was gonna talk. He thought that he had a better chance of getting you an in with Faisal than he had of talking to Mr. Inglori and not getting ratted out to Faisal.
Right. My thinking is like if I can get just a little bit more info from my lord, I might be able to come to the table with a better idea when we all go to approach Lord Faisal.
So-
because to this point, and maybe this is something we should talk about in character, just for the record, everyone, none of us have a better idea yet of what we might recommend to Lord Faisal, right? Because right now, I kind of have nothing.
I did ask Marguerite to look to look to other houses to see if perhaps there was one without a clutch. That way we could maybe tell Lord Farquaad, hey, look at this shitty house, so garbage. The Dark Elves will speak your name on high if you take this one down because you won't be killing babies when you do it. And it's also shitty. And like
Did you just
tons
call
of
them babies?
I meant I will put hole through table.
So
We should have killed that guy.
we were supposed to believe
God.
that well, it was that he was specifically helping out Amandu and not so much all of us, right?
I thought he was doing it for the recognition, like just for like the act of like, haha, look at me.
But
Yeah.
I think it
Look
was
at me
that he's
helping
like,
the poors.
Yeah.
okay, but not so that he would have someone like his crown
Well,
pupil.
yeah. So
to point
Amandu said essentially that he expects to be kind of paraded around as like the charity case on display, right? Because they have this past relationship. Amandu is the one who told him about living in Derelictus and about
Mhm.
what his apartment building was like, and so there's that connection that has led Faisal to think that this is the correct place to do that out of this kind of misguided. I mean, it is in a twisted way an attempt to help Amandu, right? But like, it's ultimately Amandu says for the purpose of his reputation.
Okay. So regardless, if we can, like, to our knowledge, if we can come up with something more avant-garde that he would be better spent his money on, then that would be the thing to do.
Yes.
To your knowledge, that sound
Okay.
yeah, that is
Secondary
accurate.
question, out of character. Do I know what the amber is on the map? The giant amber thing that's in the lower tiers.
The giant amber thing that's on
It's
the
on
map.
the map. It says like the amber, and it's this huge, big amber crystal that's in the. It's close to the Derelictus.
Are you talking about the Spire maps?
Yeah.
Oh God, there's so much on those maps. I don't know.
I know, but there's this giant amber thing, and I was hoping we could work it in. We could be like, "Hey, look, I'm."
Elise didn't draw the maps.
Yeah.
So
No, I just.
I don't think she's utilizing everything.
I did.
The fly in amber.
Yes. Oh my
Hey, it is in Derelictus. I don't know what it is. It's just
so
on the map.
cool.
We can make up what it is.
God.
The books
Have
don't.
him
Everything
remake
that's on the
that.
map is not in the book. Like the maps are way more detailed about each thing, and so like you're just kind of left
That's wild.
as GM to be like, well, great.
You know, it would be awesome.
What's
is
that?
if he
I don't know.
carved apartments out of the giant fly in amber.
Well, maybe Kelvy has dreams about the flying amber.
Oh God, I probably
Do you have
like
dreams?
all the dreams. I don't know if we've brought this up yet, but I think we could attempt to blackmail Faisal.
Ooh, spicy.
Do we have anything on him?
I can try and get
Oh, that wasn't
stuff
Barnabas.
on him. One might be like an okay way. The other one's gonna cost me a lot. If she'll even talk to me, I don't know.
Perhaps we can figure this out as we go. I need to
That
believe in
is
you
a-
again.
Yes.
It's a great
This
idea.
is just like, let's fucking go.
One
right,
last
yeah.
thing before all of you leave. If you are in dire straits, please look for a spider. Marguerite is always watching. And then with that, I will scuttle up the wall and then out the door. Down the hall.
I
Nice.
never get used to that.
Yeah.
It's canon. Minrai scuttles on walls. Okay. Oh, sorry for the noise. I have my window open. Was it?
Is
Okay.
that Rika?
No. Rika doesn't make that noise. Are you kidding? You met my 70-pound pit bull. Okay, so you head out. So let's see. I know for Hennis, this is a fairly regular occurrence. I think Barnabas, you said you don't really go up Spire, right?
Yeah, I think that Barnabas has only ever gone up to, what'd you say, like the top part had
New Heaven, where the worshippers
Right.
of Charnel,
I think that
the
he
Carrion
like
priests.
travels up there as like legitimately only when it's required and then goes nowhere else.
Okay.
Like, yeah, he does not like it there.
What about the others, Kelvy and Ulrich? What's your up Spire, down Spire travel patterns like?
I initially, my thought for my character was that I would be frequenting those places, but I think that was probably only up until my bar got shut down, which I don't quite think we have kind of figured out in the timeline exactly how recent or not that was.
Okay.
But I think ever since then, I've mostly probably been staying around the Derelictus area, like low Spire stuff. And but on the rare occasion, I would go to see Mr. Ingelory, who I do have somewhat of a relationship with still.
Okay.
And I think for Kelby, he treats up Spire like a nice road trip when he gets enough money saved up from the paper. So he'll go to like the Silver Quarter, where he did his durance and like get some nice drugs,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say like maybe once a month, maybe once every other month, depending on how well things are going.
Okay. So yeah, then all of you would know that getting up Spire is not easy, but doable, obviously very doable. And typically the way that all of you get up Spire, and probably Hennis has way more connections in this way than you guys do, because of the frequency, is you get a guide who spends their time in the tunnels and all these other, kind of things, ways that lead up and down the Tower of Spire. So famously, the Vermissian was a failed attempt at essentially a subway system throughout to go up and down Spire. It's been abandoned for a long time now, and nobody really likes going in there, but it is pretty much the easiest way to get up and down Spire, and has some, because it has fully connecting tunnels. Otherwise, there's just like person-made, stairwells and passageways and things up and down kind of throughout. And so, yeah, I would say Hennis, since you go weekly, you have several contacts that you kind of rely on as guides or access to guides, who would get you through. Because the other thing about the Vermissian, it is like much more unreal than all the like Spire is very well like versed in the unreality. Like you guys are all semi used to unreality, but from the Vermissian is where unreality is like a problem, right? And so that's why you need guides, is because even if you go weekly, the route up Spire changes. So that would be the kind of typical easiest way, probably, is the Vermissian, also the most dangerous. So, Hennis, where would you take your friends?
So we didn't really establish this, but how close am I getting to being late?
No, I mean these happen in the evenings. The fights happen in the evenings, so you have time to get up Spire.
Then I would
30 minutes.
Timer starts now.
Yeah. Click. Maybe I should do that.
But wait, I need to talk about random things for half an hour.
Yes, pull up like a countdown timer.
No, I'm gonna look for someone that I would trust not to take a pure Vermissian approach. And like once we get towards the edge of Derelictus, kind of look for someone that I'm familiar with.
Okay. So you kind of make your way. We can switch. You make your way to some of the places and kind of hanging outside of a system of kind of caves that lead up to like stairwells and things that you're familiar with, have used many times. The usual group that you see out here, it's a group of gutterkin. Gutterkin are essentially little sort of like trash rodent people.
Is this like Trashkin?
It's the same creator, so it's actually, I think, very much.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's very similar to Trashkin.
Is there like a goat girl whose birthday it always is?
Yeah, there can totally be a goat girl whose birthday it always is. Oh God, that was good. Okay,
that was my favorite.
I forgot about that. I love it. Okay, yeah. So you approach, and sitting out front is a little like rat person. You know him. He knows you. His name is Gratch. And
Can you spell that?
Yeah, Gratch.
Gotcha.
Just like it
The
sounds.
bunch of baby.
You gotta say
Real
it with that guttural.
guttural.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he insists actually.
I'll try my accent.
You
will
don't
do
have
that
a
for
letter
me.
for it, but it's like a phlegm letter.
It's a phlegm letter. And he's sitting out there with a few of the other kind of gutterkin. Gutterkin are pretty gross and despised around here. Like, they don't really spend a lot of time even in like the drow parts of the city, even in Derelictus, because people just don't like them, and kind of consider them trash. But which means that they spend a lot of time in the Vermisian near the heart, because that's where they can go. And so they have more kind of connection to the going up and down Spire, so they're frequently guides to get you out of Derelictus. So Gratch sees you approaching. Hennis! Good to see you. Time to go for a fight, huh?
Yes, it is. That is been a week. The normal.
Yes. Well, I'm going today. He kind of gets up and stretches and nods at one of the other gutterkin who comes and sits in his spot. And he's like, taking some friends. They're gonna bet on your fight. Get you a little extra money.
You know that is not allowed. Oh yeah, we both kind of laugh at that. Yeah. Perhaps you could also let them know where to get off for their respective destinations. And I kind of like not a gesture to you guys, like, where are you guys going? Let them know.
Yeah, he looks around.
Sweeten the deal for him.
Where are you guys going?
Do we like? I know this Gratch person thing.
No, you don't know Gratch.
But I generally, I guess, trust like low society Derelictus type people, right? Or
yeah,
I mean, I believe they were described as a trash rat, so
they are a trash rat. They also obviously know Hennis, and Hennis knows them. So, him.
Right, and he was just I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. I was looking at Hyena Facts, so I missed what my cue was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
he wants to know where you're going up Spire, so that he can guide you there.
Oh, okay. How does an old man speak again? Sorry. We're going to. Where are we going? Harmonious Properties. To speak with some human asshole.
You know that's in the Garden District, because you would have had which is more what he needs. I don't think Gratch knows anything about Harmonious Properties.
I told you Hyena Facts, so you asked me where I was going, and that's what I told you.
He's gonna be like, isn't that blood conspiracy company that doesn't exist?
All right, the gardens. I get if that's where you're going. Yep, it's kind of on the way, and he kind of gestures you all in, and he starts kind of leading you back.
Well,
into
aren't you going to a different place than us too, or?
Yeah, is Mr. Inglory like also in that area? Because that's where I'm going.
He would be further up Spire. The gardens is kind of more like, well, it's where farming happens essentially in Spire. It's where food is produced. So it's like mid Spire, but I think Mr. Inglory is another level or two up from there.
Would Mr. Inglory be where Lady Hellion is?
Closer, yeah. I think
okay.
Because like Inglory is like very much like business kind of merchant trade type, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so then I would say like essentially like Hennis is heading to Amaranth, which is just below New Heaven, right? And I would say Sam, like Ulrich is heading like just below Amaranth, right? So like basically coming into the low levels of Amaranth is where Ulrich is headed. Hennis, you'd be headed a little higher up.
Gotcha. Cool.
Did we talk beforehand, or should we, about like coming back down Spire if we wanted to like meet up and travel down together?
We can probably do that on the way, right?
We just figured we'd
while we're
fall.
going.
Sure. I just wanted to bring that up. So.
No, that is a good point.
This conversation's definitely happening on the way.
Absolutely.
There's our
walk and talk.
Before you go, Gratch does well for 3 stops, 4 people. It's gonna cost a little extra, Hennis, for taking all your friends all these places.
Give him a pizza slice.
This
How
isn't for
much
free.
extra?
He can be pizza.
It's like-
Essentially, mark 1 stress to silver. Or any of you can. If one
Okay.
of you has a resistance, like anyone can pay this. But he's essentially, it will be 1 stress to silver.
Could I try to like schmoozy him up?
1 stress is as low as it
Schmoozy.
goes. So if you want this for free,
No, I don't want to take more stress, but I don't
Okay,
want anyone to
flirt with this rat man, baby, so we don't take any stress.
and then roll a compel roll where you could possibly get fallout.
Okay, I don't try to.
I'll take the stress to silver.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, you and I
attempted
go
to
munch
take
on
one
some
for the
garbage
team.
later.
I attempted to take one for the team while we were still like vaguely close to Minra.
It's a very,
Whoa. I've got a silver.
it's a very D&D play, but not like, unfortunately, I think that like one of the weirdest mechanics about this is that you really don't want to get stress ever. And so you actually like, it's kind of not incentivized to roll at things like this, you know, taking guaranteed 1 stress on silver versus rolling for compel and then getting a fallout is like way worse, right? So anyway, that's just something as a GM I'm thinking through because
Okay,
obviously
well, thank you for the warning and not letting me potentially end up in a much worse place.
you broke your
Somehow
arm.
you lose your hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah. So you're in you kind of follow Gratch into the caves. And he's like he's hearing you talk about possibly needing to get back down Spire later, and says, "Oh, there's always some gutterkin somewhere. If you can find the hole back into the Vermisian, you can find one of my guys to pay." So.
Perhaps you all will not want to wait for me, though. I am usually out very late with these things.
In all this time, I haven't been to a fight. Yeah, like a Drow allowed to go, or is that like an Elfir only thing?
If you go, you may want to be prepared for someone to decide that you would also be interesting to see in the ring. Not necessarily good, but if they think it will be interesting, anything can happen.
Huh. Well, I'd love to support you, but I don't want you to kill me. So
I prefer you support me that way then.
Nice.
Okay. So you're following Gratch kind of up some like really narrow stairwells and across like some kind of strange, like, why is there a cavern here? We'll never know, right? And then like the next like room that you kind of pass into in this like winding thing that is this passageway up is like a built like subway stop for the Vermisian that just happens to kind of pass through this otherwise non-Vermisian kind of path upward. And it's Gratch is just kind of like, he just rambles on. He sees other gutterkin and there's just like, yeah, hey man, it's very normal seeming for Gratch. I don't think, Barnabas, you've ever traveled this way. I think that when you go up Spire with the Carrion Priests, and they have other means of transportation that are much more like, you just kind of get on like flying creatures that take you to New Heaven because the Carrion Priest kind of network takes care of that, right?
Man, can't I just do that now? That sounds cool.
if you wanna go press on your Carrion Priest network. But the others, I think this is kind of something you've done before, never this path before. Bohannes, I'm sure you've seen some of these places. And as you're kind of walking along, you start to kind of turn down one passageway, and Gratch grabs you and pulls you back and says, "Oh, that one caved in last week. What can I say? It's always a mess." Like, just
always something new.
Yeah. And like, you get maybe an hour in, and you're climbing more and going along, and Gratch is doing his thing, and like you hear some crashing in the distance, and Gratch is like, "Ugh, I knew tunnel 47B was coming down soon. I just didn't think it'd be today," and like carries on, and like and eventually,
How is the spire still standing?
Gratch looks horrified that you said this. We don't talk You don't ask questions about the Spire. And he's like knocking on like the wall, like knock on wood superstition kind of.
Part of it like crumbles away when you knock.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So quick question.
Yeah.
Is the Vermisian like the underground way to go up Spire? Is there like a more official route?
So there are like similar to the Carrion Priest would have access to. There are flying routes that the Aelfer are more likely to take. So, but once you get to kind of around ground level, there isn't like you can't fly out of Derelictus because Derelictus is like subterranean inside Spire, kind of below the Undercity, right? And so you would have to get out of Derelictus and kind of press the ground level to then get on something that can fly to take you up higher.
Okay, but like the Vermisian, like while they're primarily traversed by the Drow, then I guess
the Vermisian is right. Yeah, yes, primarily by the Drow and Gutterkin and kind of other undesirables of the city.
Not like fancy people that are going down. That's not how they go up and down.
No,
yeah,
it is too weird. The Vermisian is too fucking weird for the Aelfer. They don't like it. It's, I mean, if they can help it, which most of them can.
Fair.
Yeah. So okay. About an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes in, Hennis Gratch turns down a tunnel you've never been down before, and gets you about 3/4 of the way down it. You can kind of see an exit now ahead of you, and he points those of you going to Neza at Harmonious Properties out and says, "Oh, this is the Gardens District. Well, it's part of the Gardens District. I don't know anything about Harmonious Properties, but this is closer than you were, so..."
Would Kelly know anything about this area of Spire? I don't really know your relationship to Spire because I have none, really, other than the top.
I don't know how. Well, actually, that's a good question.
Because once we get out here, we're going to need to find our way to Harmonious Properties, and I'm not sure.
With the Viscant, because they're connected to the Herald Corporation, would anyone have like reached out to me? Like, is this like a everybody is very open and communal about their we're all bug people here, or is it more like we're all kind of solitary and some people are in very organized groups?
More the latter.
Okay.
I think the more kind of advanced the infection becomes, the more likely you are to be seeing others out.
Sure.
Some people that you've met who are similarly blessed have more of a compulsion to meet others. It's kind of individual but also collective, if that makes sense. Like they have dreams or whatever that compel them towards locations or things or places or people who are also working towards Viscant goals, which you have not encountered. You know of the Herald Corporation because of like immediately following your infection, kind of in that initial kind of induction into the Viscant realm. Like you were introduced to the Herald Corporation and a few other things that are kind of key Viscant things going on in the city as kind of like a, I guess for lack of a better word, like sleeper cell type mentality of like, should the time come, they can kind of call you to.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Right. But as for whether or not you've been to, I don't think you've been to the Herald Corporation headquarters. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And can Viscants recognize one another by sight, or is that like a no? Okay, cool. That's good to know.
Okay, so I mean, I'm assuming. All right, Kelvy, I think this one's us.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So you guys wave farewell. Gratch with his grubby little rat paw kind of waves you off, and then turns around and leads Hennis.
Sweet Pea gives him a sniff as she walks by. Just a nice like.
He doesn't like Sweet Pea.
Everybody likes Sweet Pea. How dare you?
He's a rat. She's a hyena. All right, and I guess Amandu would be with you. We didn't actually establish that you guys collected him on your way out, but it was the plan was for him to go up Spire with you, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, the three of you follow Gratch back into the passageway. Let's see what Minrai is up to.
Ade!
Spotting.
Okay. So, those are great questions. What is Minrai up to?
I can come back to you if you want.
I guess I would go talk to, Marguerite, obviously, to see if she needs my help with anything. And also, if I can, is the lesbian drug dealer still there?
Yeah, Amandu was talking to them when you all were conferenced up in your apartment. So you could go check on them as well if you want.
Okay, I'll go talk to Marguerite first.
Okay.
And like kind of update her on the situation.
All right. Yeah, so you find Marguerite in the basement. She's
Hi, Marguerite.
Hello, Minrai. Here to check the moisture levels.
The moisture levels. I'll go. I don't know what I'll go fuss with the humidifiers.
Yeah, fuss with the humidifier, sure.
This old piece of shit. So the group has all gone up Spire. There are a few going to talk to these harmonious people that do not exist.
Well, they exist. They just haven't existed long.
Yes, and we found out that perhaps maybe they are a secret group trying to spread how is it called? This blood bad thing, very bad.
Found out about this. You think
Blood
that
bad thing.
harmonious properties is connected to this?
Yes, that is what we think, and that they are interested in these cracks because it has something to do with their mumbo jumbo, as they say,
As they say. This is very bad, Minrai.
Yes. Well, so we have a few ideas of how to proceed. We can either blackmail Lord Farquaad into picking different building if you found one that may, or to not pick building at all, but preferably to just pick a different one so it's not so bad for him. If you found one that doesn't have a clutch. Or other possibility is to dissolve harmonious properties or talk to Nezadeh, the head. But seeing as they are all probably blood parasite people, maybe not so good. So if you have any ideas or if you have any advice, or if you just need help with anything other than moisture levels, which don't get me wrong, I love moisture levels, but
for the clutch, anything.
There will be no building here soon, so.
Well, I think this is very interesting. This is not something I have encountered much, but I have encountered it. The blood is important to us and midwives. And I think
this is why Kelvy has never donated blood.
Kelvy is infected.
No.
Oh.
He's just worried about it. Shit.
Poor Kelvy.
I don't want to die.
Sorry, I just have to make a little note.
Oh
in my
no,
notes.
Kelvy.
Oh no.
No, he just knows about it and is trying to maybe contain it.
She's
so
gonna kill me.
he is worried about it.
Spiders all up and down the Vermisian vault.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Kelvy, you're just covered in spiders now. No, he is just worried about contamination. Because he is
Are
the
you
one that-
lying to Marguerite?
I would never lie to her.
No, you would never. And she pinches your cheek hard.
Fuck! God damn it! Okay, so here's the deal. Yes, he is a little bit infected. No, it's not so bad. You don't need to hurt him. I know you are protective. He stays on the 3rd floor. No blood. He doesn't have any crazy visions. If he does, I kill him myself, okay? If he goes crazy, I put him in the ground. I make you this promise, Marguerite.
Minrai, I don't want to kill Kelvy.
This is good news. I thought you definitely wanted to kill
Tyler, like, unclenches.
Wow.
Fine.
That would have been
It's fine.
awkward, huh? I mean, I'm
Um,
roommates with him. I would love the extra bed, but I don't think it would go over very well with the rest of us.
no, it's Kelvy, no, we want to help the Drow. We're here to protect the future of the Drow, Minrai, not to kill the Drow who have a problem.
Exactly,
Should
yes.
Kelvy become a
Terminating
problem,
all
then
the
we
blood
take
virus,
him
that
out.
would
But he's not donating blood. He's not trying to infect others. We let him, well, maybe.
live, you know.
Listen, I don't know very much about this, but I know people.
I know lots
We can,
of people.
yeah, we can find out more.
Okay.
This will be something I can see. That yeah, she kind of starts thinking and putzing around, checking on the clutch.
I know you like spiders and that you use them to.
Like spiders. Spiders are our family, Minrai.
Yes. Well, that you use them to keep track of to keep a watchful, motherly eye on the people of this building and perhaps others. So I just thought that I would let you know where everybody went in case you wanted to maybe try and keep an eye on them, and should anything go wrong, you know, if they are to be arrested or something, and you know I am here, perhaps I can make my way up there to save them.
Very flattering you think my reach goes so far up Spire.
Well, you are the great Marguerite, are you not?
She just kind of chuckles and keeps working on her stuff. She says, I will do what I can to keep my eye on.
Okay, well, send a spider if you need me. I will go help with moving some things and preparing for the people to come tomorrow. Did we dig a tunnel? Is that what did we decide?
We talked about caving in the room to the entrance to the basement.
It would wreak havoc on the moisture levels, but we could always work on it some.
Well, think on this and we will do something.
Okay.
And let's cut back to those of you still in the tunnels. So Ulrich, Amandu, and Hennis are still making their ways up Spire. Amandu is getting he's on edge. I wouldn't say he's like necessarily like nervous. Like he's not constantly like, oh God, is someone there? But like he doesn't like being back here. The higher up you get, the less kind of settled he is. He doesn't want to be up Spire. But he just kind of tags along. Gratch's doing his thing where he's just, and then that's where the old cave-in from 3 years ago completely ruined the, and you continue your way up Spire. Yeah, let's see. So you make it another 30 minutes before kind of get to the lowest levels of Amaranth. As you enter into the low levels of Amaranth, it gets cold. And this is something all of you are familiar with if you have spent any time in Amaranth, which all of you have. It is literally freezing up here. They keep it frozen. It is a frozen tier of Spire. So, I mean, all of you would know this. All of you would have come prepared with clothing. The Drow don't go out into the upper levels of Spire without protective gear anyway, because your skin is sensitive to the sun. And so all of you would have face coverings, complete coverings, but also probably some like winter clothes essentially because Amaranth is frozen. And so you kind of gear up as you come into these low levels of Amaranth. And I guess you would have said something, and he kind of, Gratch kind of again turns down a tunnel Hennis has never been down before. This will get you into the merchant districts and the low levels of Amaranth. I think that's where you said you were going. So,
all right, thank you, Gratch. You said you're leaving soon, right?
Gratch is taking Hennis further up Spire. Is that what you mean?
Right, but
like to take you back down.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of standard procedure. Whoever is kind of at the entrance gets the fare. So whoever comes up next, I'll take them down Spire, and you'll work with an associate, taxi style.
All right. Well, thank you for your guidance.
And then I guess we just kind of head on towards the merchant district.
Okay. And then, not too far from there, Hennis, he drops you off further up Spire. So let's check in with Kelvy and Barnabas.
Let's. I would say at least just like looks wise too. Barnabas wants to like appear strong and confident and stuff, but he is also super fucking uncomfortable right now.
Mhm.
Just like, and is going to like, is very much going to like let Kelvy take the lead.
Mhm.
It just in the sense, sorry Kelvy, but like
No, you're good.
Oh
You're
wait,
good.
this isn't Amaranth. We're going to the gardens.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel
garden.
like he would be telling Kelvy because Barnabas is an oversharer, just like Rachel is. I feel like he would be like, yeah, you know, I kind of got this appointment because I was less crazy than Minrai, which isn't hard to do. But
Oh, hey, still good for you.
thank you.
That's important that you still you were still charismatic enough to like earn it. You know, like
I don't know that I got any left in me though.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
but that's why I'm here, right?
Exactly. And then I can just be intimidating in the background with Sweet Pea, you know.
Perfect.
So yeah, you guys came out around this wrong layer. Hey, peek behind the curtain. We're sending this to the map layer. All right, so we're watching the stream. You guys came out around this kind of turbine. These little things on the map, these are Vermissian stations that I'm highlighting on Roll20. So wherever you see those kinds of things, that's what those are. So you came out around turbine.
Hey,
like,
that hanging gardens looks fucking terrible, at least.
That's a different kind of hanging gardens.
Yeah, sure
Oh,
fucking
boy.
is.
Do you remember how I told you that food in Spire includes like blood mushrooms that grow on corpses?
Yeah.
That's the hanging gardens. That is literally where those grow. They grow them on corpses in the gardens.
Did those people already die, or were they killed for that purpose?
Most of them were probably dead before they were hung up. Yeah.
Is all the blood would sink to the bottom of their body, so there would just be like mushrooms on the legs.
Are you a gardener inspired?
Toe
mushrooms. You know how
I have a balcony garden
with corpses.
They know magic.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry. I just saw that. I was looking at the map and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, so this area of Spire is essentially of the gardens is kind of like the more, so there's a lot of, most of the gardens is actually like farm type land, right, where they grow things. This area of Spire seems to be more like where they might produce stuff, so like take the grain and turn it into bread kind of place. I actually like
killer.
Yeah, okay. And so yeah, it's kind of it's in so far as there is an industrial part of the gardens, this is an industrial part of the gardens.
So what do you think? Do we ask for directions?
That sounds like something that we should do. Or we can just start walking into random buildings and be like, hello, is this... Asking sounds
I don't
great.
really know how much these guys like to talk to us.
Well, this is all Drow. The Elfer would never deign to be farmers, so
okay.
Or I mean, like there might be some Elfer around who would be like in charge of like oversight or management.
Okay, but it's people that we're at least like it's us.
It's Drow.
Okay.
It's mostly Drow, a few human.
Okay.
Humans.
Every time Barnabas walks by a human, he's going to inhale deeply. Just every time.
Yeah. So are you just kind of wandering at this point? I mean, I presume that
I'm gonna find the person that knows, like, they know what they're doing.
That looks like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
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 And
There's
I'm just gonna
plenty of people around.
stroll right up and ask for directions.
Okay. Yeah, I would say there's no reason to say Neza wouldn't have told you like an address or something, right? Like if they invited you up Spire, they're gonna give you an address. So they point you in the right direction. You're actually not far. It turns out this is actually
Can I ask
Also-
a question?
Mhm.
Just sorry to
Sure.
understand a little bit of Spire and how things work.
Mhm.
My brain died. Are the Drow up here? Do they live up here all the time, or are they also serving whatever the fuck it's
Durance.
called, Durance? Or is it
Durance.
like, because I was under the impression that Drow are only up Spire when they're serving their Durance, but do some live here their whole life? Or
So in this part of Spire, they live here.
okay,
The Durances are usually served. Well, it depends, but up Spire, like Amaranth and much higher, is what is happening here? What's this?
sorry, it's the
Laughter. Mhm. I
Nothing.
mean, it's so interesting to be in on the joke.
It's the Twitch chat. That's all it is. I'm just a child and I react to things strongly.
Mhm.
Okay, teacher?
Yeah. So, yes, the Durances are. I just don't believe you. Look at Sam's face.
I just about died
Can you
when
believe
Sam
that?
typed Minreister, Prime Minreister. I fucking lost
I
it.
Minreister was real fucking good.
That was good.
That was great.
Yeah, so Durances are typically served under a lord or lady of the Aelfer, right? And so they typically happen much higher in Spire. The gardens, the industrial part of Spire, which is like mid Spire. So Derelictus is like real low. Then there's like mid Spire, which is where all this stuff happens. The kind of day-to-day of Spire happens there, or like of production and growth and economy happen mid Spire more. And then up Spire is like where the Aelfer live. Significantly smaller population, right? The Aelfer are a colonial force essentially. So there's not as many of them as there are Drow. They just
Gotcha.
harbor all the wealth and resources there.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for interrupting. I just
No,
wasn't
you're
sure.
good. So this is primarily Drow. Again, like again, most Aelfer would not deign to come down Spire. Which, you know, again, up Spire and down Spire are like direction more than location. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so you're not far. Like I said, this is where most of the kind of non-actual like farmland of the gardens is, which would include headquarters of companies and things. So yeah, you kind of make your way through. It's pushing 4:30 by the time you get there, but you do make it to Harmonious Properties.
Mm.
So is this the kind of door you knock on, or we just walk in?
Probably just walk in. It's just it's a
office
business place.
building
Yeah,
type. Yeah. Okay. Barnabas opens the door for you.
Oh, I walk in.
I think you should definitely be the one to to initiate the our arrival, and then I can like take it over from there, because this guy hasn't even met me yet. So
Yeah, they do have a receptionist.
Okay.
It's not a big office. It's quite small. There seems to be like maybe there's like a lobby area where you've come into, and someone's sitting at a desk, a receptionist of sorts. And then kind of behind that, there's like a hallway leading back, and you can see a few kind of branching rooms. It seems to be the extent of it. I mean, if you got back there, you'd tell better, but that's what you can see so far. The receptionist is a Drow woman, and she's just kind of sitting there doing her work at her desk, and she looks not very interested, not exactly like hateful or anything, just not interested.
Just like a receptionist at an office.
Yeah, and she's just like, yes.
Okay, so I figured Barnabas and Sweet Pea would walk up together, and Sweet Pea would kind of like, is it the kind of desk where like, I would think Sweet Pea would be able to walk up and just like put her front paws kind of on the desk, like stand a little bit, not aggressively,
Sure, yeah, she could do
but
that.
just kind of like stand a little bit and like just be there next to me intensely. It's fine. Hi, name's Barnabas.
And you
might be
on the list, and she like rummages through papers and
he's
up.
gonna hold out his hand again, like he's good, like that's what he does every time he meets new people, is he
To,
just
like,
always
shake?
wants to. Yes.
Yeah. She's looking through papers and kind of like sees your hand, and very like looking at Sweet Pea, just kind of reaches out and
Yeah, he
Yeah.
firmly grasps it.
Hmm.
I have an appointment with Neza Day.
With Neza, she's, just digging through
While
stuff.
she's looking at the list, I'm gonna smell my hand. It's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I love it though. Barnabas, you said Barnabas. Neza! She just hollered. I mean, it's a small building, and you see Neza poke their head out of their office and kind of look down the hall, and they see you standing out. Oh, yep, just send him back, and she gestures you past and goes back to whatever she was doing. So yeah, you make your way down the hallway to Neza's office, where you saw them sticking their head into the hallway, and you are welcomed in by Neza. When you go into Neza's office, Neza is like a project manager, right? They oversee projects, apparently, although you have intel from Minrai that there's not exactly any other projects, right? So,
Right.
but what you see
what we had heard from her was that this was just like the weird shell corporation that like this
right,
is
that
the
prior
thing.
to taking this project in Derelictus, Harmonious Properties didn't really seem to exist. They came into existence seemingly right at the right moment and snatched up this contract for a much lower price than the competition, is what you know. And then Calvi is the one who kind of put together and suggested that this was related to being a front for the Herald Corporation.
Right.
Okay, and so yeah, but on Neza's walls, like Neza is clearly has drafted beautiful sketches of lots of, like, Neza seems to be a dreamer, right? Like, just has their office covered in sketches and plans and things for beautiful buildings. And some of them a little weirder than others. Like, some of them look fairly normal, and then some of them are kind of like, that looks like it might have been made by an insect. Why would you build that? But that's kind of all around Nez's office. They have a desk and
that's
some
a little
chairs.
on the nose right now.
And
Sorry.
no, I mean, that's what their office looks like. So
yeah.
They invite you. If you didn't know anything about Vis, you would be confused, wouldn't you? Lucky you.
Damn it.
Tyler.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to go ahead and just either confirm or hopefully take things one step further here. I have an ability called Nose for Trouble. So once per scene, I can ask the GM what's weird or out of place here. I don't know if that's going to get me anything.
Yeah, no, that's really
interesting.
interesting. So what's weird or out of place here? I would say actually knowing what you know about the Herald Corporation and Harmonious Properties, what's out of place are some of the sketches on the wall that seem less strange. You know that once the infection kind of roots in certain ways, it becomes obsessive and like a compulsion for. And so Neza's sketches, you kind of take a minute to look around as they're greeting you and bringing you into the office. All of the sketches that are more normal are early sketches, like possibly from school days kind of sketches. And the creepier, weirder ones that you would align with Vis in your mind are current, recent sketches. And in fact, like that, so the ones that stick out to you or that seem out of place are actually the weird, the normal looking ones, if that makes sense.
Okay, so
it's like a fairly recent thing.
We're seeing a progression almost.
Yes, you are definitely seeing a progression.
But I have no idea, so. Yeah. Or I mean, like I see the thing, but I don't make
you would be
connect the
like,
dots.
That's a strange style, but.
I'm into weirdos, so.
Yeah. And let's see. The only other thing I'd say, we like out of place or strange. What's the wording? Out of place or?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll
no, that's
read
okay.
It back
I just kind of want to think.
Like, once per scene, ask the GM what's weird or out of place here.
Okay, I would say that the other thing that's weird is that nothing else is out of place. Nothing, like Nez's office is perfection, spotless, everything in order, 90-degree angles. Every pencil accounted for, every paper in its spot. That's
So
what
I
is-
shouldn't have Sweet Pea like smear that white like cream that comes out of hyenas' behinds
I
to
don't
mark their
read all the
territory.
hyena facts, and that's horrifying to find out. Yeah. So that is what else is weird, is that nothing is out of place.
Where is he standing? Is he behind his desk already?
Neza is
Or
they, them, and they are behind their desk, yes. They sit down
That-
and invite you to sit as well. And they see Kelvy, they see you kind of admiring the stuff on the wall, and yes, I see you've found some of my projects. What can I say? I've always dreamed of creating beautiful things.
I'm gonna go up to the one that's the most like the most vis.
Yeah.
You know.
The one that you viscerally feel.
Yes. Yes.
Ah,
I love it.
This one makes my blood boil.
This one's my favorite. It's you got a gift, a very special gift, one which I think I share.
Is that so? And your friend here, it's they look at Barnabas. Not common for the Carrion priests to be among our number.
They're an affiliate. I'm working on conversion.
Barnabas just looks at you.
Yeah.
I shoot you a very quick like just fucking go with it. Look.
Barnabas, you can't tell. Kelvy looked a little too excited about converting you.
Oh boy.
Barnabas just starts stroking Sweet Pea while smiling at you eerily. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting news. I presumed we were to talk about the project, and we certainly can. And now, I mean, for all that Barnabas was the original person invited up, Helvy, you are the center of attention from Neza now, having just revealed this to them.
Good.
Nice. So Barnabas is just
Okay.
gonna sit there, just seriously, just like stroking Sweet Pea the whole time, and just like wide mouth, like grinning teeth at Nezade, just to make them feel weird and uncomfortable the entire time you're talking. That's kind of my plan. And you can call on me for anything if you want me to back you up on things.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
I'm going to attempt to, but I don't know like how Kelby's brain's operating at this point. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that this doesn't crash and burn real bad.
Okay.
Cool. So you know, as a fellow Viscount, you know, I live in that building. I find it odd that no one reached out to just ask me what was going on or tell me why I'm getting evicted. You know, I'm guessing it's a sacred site if you're moving in there, right?
There were dreams had by some. It's an important spot. I presume you heard of the cracks in the basement.
I have not.
Well, we just found out. We've had people investigating occult happenings in Derelictus for some time, and although we couldn't do much inspection due to the wife who makes her presence very known at 228 Boundary, there was definite signs of leakages in the basement of the occult, greater leakages perhaps than most places in the area, and we intend to capitalize.
Huh. So I gotta ask, because I as an investigative reporter myself, I did a little digging. So you seem to come out of nowhere and get the project for far below the asking that a lot of the other groups that were bidding for were, you know. So like I gotta ask you, is Lord Faisal one of our number?
Faisal, no. That idiot, he doesn't, he's just means to an end. We knew
Oh,
about
thank this.
we knew about the location. Faisal comes asking about, well, we knew that the area was occult, and Faisal comes asking about a specific property. We swooped in, got the deal. It was as simple as that. It was two interests combined. For now.
Sure. That checks out. That checks out. Okay. Okay. Hmm. So, what happens if, say, you know, you don't get to, you know, get in on this on this project? Like, what happens for us?
We're already in on the project. What would be the problem?
Well, you know, there's been talk. Word might get out about you know, the Herald Corporation and their experiments, and then, you know, it would only take a couple seconds to connect the Herald Corporation to you, as you're using the Herald Corporation to so generously, you know, donate back bread to whoever doesn't get in on the lottery. You know, if the people were to figure out that the Viscant were trying to evict people from their homes, you know, it doesn't feel doesn't feel like it would bode well for us in terms of the spreading of our.
They look at Barnabas and they say to you, Kelvy, while staring at Barnabas, and who outside our number would do such a thing?
Well, I'm not worried about those outside our number. I'm talking about those inside our number. I don't know if you've heard, but there's like a counter thing going on where there's people who are trying to like fight this thing. You know, we all got that's like connecting us all. You know, it's
Yeah, roll deceive. That's a big lie.
that is a huge lie.
So let's see. You would get deceive. You would get your base D10. So if you have the deceive skill, that would be 2d10. And this
I don't think I can help in any way here, can
Do you
I?
have deceive?
I don't think so. That is not one of Barnabas's
what
strengths.
do you? I think this would count for occult. So if you have the occult
Perfect.
domain,
I have religion.
You both have a lot of spiders on you. I don't know if that would
I have a cult. So I have a cult. I do not have deceive. So I'll roll 2.
2d10.
Okie dokie. Let's hope this goes well.
Indeed. Okay, an 8
Okay.
is good.
All
An
right.
8 is success, no stress. Very good. Neza, I mean, you've essentially just told Neza that there are Viscants who are somehow resisting and like working against the plans of Vis. And they start kind of scribbling down some notes and very concerned. There are people like us who are, well, who? I mean, do you know who? Are they in Derelictus? Are they
Actually,
related to
you
that
know what?
midwife?
Hold on.
Why would the midwife have any association
Listen.
with you assholes? I mean, people.
Listen, Barnabas, I gotta ask. Can you and Sweet Pea wait outside? This is very confidential information, and I don't think that, you know, you're ready for it, as you are not worthy of the gift quite yet.
Right, because my gifts are better. Sure, I'll wait outside.
Okay.
And I'll get up and wait outside, but I like, unless they check, I'm gonna absolutely have my ear pressed to the fucking door. So.
Roll sneak.
Cool. What do I get? Do I have sneak? That's the wrong thing to click. I do.
Okay, so you get your base D10 sneak.
That's it.
That's it.
So
2
2.
D10.
7.
7 is
Oh,
a
hey.
partial success, or a success at a cost.
Right.
So you have to take stress in order to so basically, like, people who could notice you at this point that you know of, the receptionist and Neza, right, would be the ones that you would be concerned about. I presume Kelvy noticed doesn't concern you too much at this point.
Right. I would try harder to hide from Neza than I would from the receptionist.
Okay. So let's see. We will put the stress against Shadow, essentially saying, like, in order to do this, you have to kind of lean hard into, right? Like, you almost get caught, don't quite, but it's like, it's suspicious enough that you take a stress to Shadow.
Sure.
Okay. So, yes, and then Kelvy, actually hold that thought. We will come back. Barnabas pressed up to the door, and Kelvy about to reveal some delicious secret to Neza. Let's see what Ulrich and Amandu are up to.
Hey, so when you left us off last time,
Yes.
I had noticed that Amandu was getting, more and more apprehensive about, going further and further up Spire. So I think I would kind of like I know my way around. We're in the Amaranth now.
You're in Amaranth now.
Okay, I know my way around it, so I would know like the right spot to go to get like a drink or something, right?
Yes. There's my dog. For anyone who's wondering what she sounds like.
There you go.
So yeah, you would know. There are no drow bars in Amaranth, according to the Elfer. You would know perfectly well that there are plenty of drow bars. You just have to know where to look. So this is something I would say. I mean, how long has it been since you've been up here, would you say?
I mean, maybe a month or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you kind of, once you get your bearings on where you are, because this is not like a normal part of the Amaranth, right? You kind of come out of these weird caves. But once you get your bearings, you find your way pretty easily to where you knew at least 2 months ago there was an underground drow bar. And you kind of listen for a minute and ascertain, like, you hear a few like strains of music come up from, it's essentially like kind of in kind of like what would essentially be like a basement kind of area at this point. So
Okay.
you and you're familiar with, so yeah, you're pretty confident still a drow bar.
All right, so I go ahead and I take Amandu with me, and I order both of us drinks at the bar, mine's to go.
What is
And
this, San Antonio with beer and alls? Oh man. You said that I went to school in San Antonio, and there was like this, like a drive-through place called the Beer and All. One of my roommates was like, "I'm gonna be a beer and all girl for Halloween." Like, just stand out there like waving the sign. Okay.
oh my.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Amandu, I know you're feeling a little anxious right now, and so I think the best case scenario is going to be to have you just kind of sit here for a moment. I'm going to go by myself up to see Mr. Inglory, and then once I've done that, I'll meet you right back here. Just please stay put. Don't go anywhere. And
We're not going anywhere. Where he seems very content to sit at this bar and drink. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. Great. I give him a few extra whatever
I
currency
think
I
they're called
have.
like Sten or something, according to the handbook.
Okay. I give him a few extra Sten.
Sten. Yeah.
Sten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Order whatever you like, but don't get too much. I'll be right back. And yeah, I kind of leave him in the safest place I can think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
head on.
Bar. Yep.
Head
Right.
on up to Mr. Inglory's.
All right, familiar path that you're beating here. you make your way. How much of a relationship have you kept with Mr. Inglory since the days of your durance?
I would say that like because like he in his own way kind of had the same view of my relationship with him as like it was like a an exchange. Like I was serving a function for him that he knows that I can serve, but he still doesn't think too highly of the Drow. And so like we're never going to necessarily be friends, but like we're close acquaintances. He doesn't mind when I stop by, kind of
Okay,
deal.
yeah. All right. Yeah, so you're known to the people kind of are you strapping by like a place of business? How was his business kind of set up here?
So in my head, he's kind of like the tier below like high ranking stockbroker kind of guy. So like he has his own office space, like a big desk.
Yeah.
And then like he probably has like a secretary, but it's not like he's not like a 5-star kind of guy just yet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he works in like a bigger, like he doesn't have his own establishment. He's like a cog in a machine of some sort of corporation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say he's like high up, but he's not.
Yeah. Just
not
checking. I wasn't
CEO.
sure if he was like
Yeah.
if he had his own thing or if he was like part of a thing. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you go in. You're familiar enough with like the right things to say and people to talk to. There's actually like a bin of masks at the door for Drow to wear upon entering. And so this is something you're familiar with. You just like pick up one of the masks and put it on because the Alfir do not do business with people not wearing masks. Like you are less than dirt if you're showing your face around people. So
Okay.
yeah, you just snatch up one. I mean, this is standard procedure, right? Not something you would be surprised by at all. And you kind of put on your like it's like the equivalent of like house shoes, someone's house, right? You like slip off your street shoes and slip on slim slippers. Like this is slipping on like a little mask. And you make your
Right.
way up to Inglory's office. And he's there. He's at his desk kind of working on some ledgers.
And he is alone, right?
Yep, just him.
Okay. I guess I knock on the door and I step right on in.
Ah.
Mr. Inglory.
Ulrich, is
Long
that
time.
you? I can tell by the blue robes. You're always in those blue robes these days.
You know me. How's the kids? How's the wife?
Oh, ball and chain. It's the same old. Yeah, you know how it is. Come on in. He actually pours you a drink. It's business, right? Like it's
Yeah.
acquaintance, his business among acquaintances. Passes you a drink, takes one himself, gestures for you to have a seat.
Yeah. I would say that he definitely knows about my business going down, but I don't know if he knows what I've been doing since then.
Okay.
I feel like I've probably kept that under wraps. But anyway.
Yeah, I can't believe I got wind of what happened. What was the name? The Snacks and Malak or something?
Yeah, snack and Malak.
I heard about Snack and Malak. I don't know what to say. I said we didn't need to make it illegal, Malak, but what can I say? The council does what the council wants.
Yeah, they sure do. But that's honestly neither here nor there. I've been doing I guess as best as I can, but I actually come to you today with a bit of an agenda of my own for once. And I wanted to know if I could get a few, I guess, pointers from you. This is kind of a business endeavor, kind of not. But yeah. So I take a couple sips and get comfortable, make sure he's comfortable. And I caught wind of a business acquisition of a Lord Faisal that I know that you have a relationship with of some sort. But I'm afraid he might be getting into something a bit over his head with this, and I think like if there's anything you might have in mind, we might want to advise him against this particular purchase. He's trying to buy out an apartment complex in
My understanding is he bought out the apartment complex. This isn't not many people up here know about it yet, but I'm in the business. What can I say? And it seems to me that it's a done deal. I don't know what he's doing, who buys property in Derelictus these days, but I think it's done, isn't it?
I mean, maybe your information's more recent than mine, but
I mean, he is the landlord now. Like this project, like isn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then how do we want to frame this? Let's see. Well, okay. Even if that might be the case, whether or not he owns the property, I guess that is not super important. But I know that he is attempting to renovate said property. First of all, what a terrible idea. Who the heck is going to want to purchase apartments in there? But second of all, I happen to know of a much more I guess liquidizable property that is like literally right down the street. And like if he had two good eyes on his head, which I'm pretty sure he does, but he would know that if anything, that property, which is in a much greater state of disarray, would it probably maximize his profits tenfold if honestly like reputation and affluency are his goals here, which I assume they are.
They're always his goals, I think. This is interesting. There's another property. I mean, I don't know what the man wants with property in Derelictus, but if you think there's something to be gained, I mean, what's in it for you? What's in it for me if we're gonna change his mind about this property? What does it matter for you or I if he buys and sells property in Derelictus?
Okay, give me a moment to think about this.
Yeah. Let's cut to Hennis.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Hennis, what are you up to?
So once I get out of the Vermissian, I'm going to have my mask on.
Yep.
And I'm going to be heading towards Lady Helian's estate. When I get there, I'll probably just like go in the door. And do I see signs that she's around?
You know that on nights of fights, she likes to be present. She's very involved in the fighting game. This is her primary jam, right? This is what she does. She likes to be involved in the business kind of from top to bottom, including coming around and seeing what shape her fighters are in. So yeah, this would be kind of, you would expect to see her, if not right away, then soon upon arrival. You are pretty familiar with like, there's like runners and people like young drow on their durance, like, essentially like 18-year-olds who like upon you entering, like one of them scurries off, you presume to alert her that you've arrived. You see some of the other fighters kind of warming up, stretching. You have kind of a standard place you go. And she has like on her property, she has fighting pits, I guess. I mean like an arena, which you don't always fight at. But there's like home and away games essentially of like sometimes the fights are at her place, sometimes they're at someone else's place. This time it happens to be a home game, if you will. And so you're kind of getting ready with her other kind of fighters that represent her in kind of your like locker room.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and take a little bit more time to do this than I normally would. So when she comes in, it looks like I'm not as ready as I should be yet.
Okay.
And Yeah, once I see her.
Okay. Yeah.
Please,
So
if you have an issue with, sorry, if you have an issue with my timing here, you can blame your Lord Freisel.
Lord Faisal. What's that idiot got to do with anything?
Well, perhaps you do not know, but we all need a place to live, and mine, because of his actions, will be going away. So I hope that will not affect your business at all. It is
Don't
all a
you
game that
live
you all
in
play.
Derelictus? Isn't that where all you Drow live? And she kind of looks around at the other fighters who are like not making eye contact. What does Lord Faisal have to do with Derelictus?
Have you not heard? He's tearing down the apartment where I live. I have to find somewhere new. It is
Oh,
taking more
that's-
time than I would like to spend on training.
This is absolutely absurd. Why would Lord Faisal bother with a place in Derelictus?
I was hoping that you could tell me. I have not spoken to the man in years. Not someone that you normally do business with. You've told me not to bother.
Well, he does sometimes bring fighters by. He had that, what's his name? The one that I don't think you ever crossed paths with, but was quite a renowned fighter for a while, but his durance is over, so I don't even know if he has anyone worth mentioning in the game anymore.
The nice thing is he has no business messing in how you do in the game.
Well, if his interference is a problem, I suppose I can see what it's all about. Very strange. Elford dealing with derelict. Scoffs.
Oh, it is also
she is wearing a
strange
mask,
from our
of
side.
course, by the way.
Mhm.
Fun fact. So, like, you don't see these facial expressions that are happening, but you hear it in her voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is also strange from our side. We do not think about it too much. As I said, we have to find places to live now. Excuse my talking, though I should get ready.
Yes, do make sure. Tighten those straps. And she's like pointing to one of the other fighters who's like greaves or whatever are not like fully tightened. And then kind of back to you and it's like, I'll ask around. This makes no sense. But Hennis, I suppose if you need to move, I can lend you a few sten if I must. I just don't be late again. This is absurd.
Trust me, it is not stents that I need. It is just time. I'm sure that I will have this all figured out by next week. You do not have to hopefully worry about it again, so long as he does not try to do anything else.
Interesting. This is... And she starts to walk away. And will walk away unless you stop her.
Now I'll actually go and try and help that guy with the straps.
Very nice.
Like metagame remind everybody that we're part of like a secret organization that is like if they suspect that we're against the High Elves, they'll like kill all of us.
What, the Ministry? The Ministry is explicitly against the High Elves.
No, she means
so, I mean,
if they like suspect that we're part of the
because
Ministry.
we're poking around like really obviously, I think right now.
I mean,
So just as like
some
a
amount that they
warning,
know
I
we
don't
hate
think
them
we said
anyway.
anything like
I
damning.
don't know if it's obvious because I think that like Hennis has a relationship with this, this person and is late for the reason of that his home's going to be destroyed.
I have to find a new one. It takes time.
So I have a quick question. When we found out that the apartment complex got outbid, was it Lord Faisal that placed the bid that bought it, or did he place a lower bid and somehow still
Faisal
got
bought 228 and then put out a call for proposals saying, I want to renovate this, and that's where Homeowners Properties came in.
So as far as we know, he doesn't fully know about the whole Viz shit and everything.
Yeah, as far as you know, I mean, and
he just wants to look good by like, I'm helping out the low people.
The process for him was he bought the property because Amandu lived there, right? Was like, I can buy this. And then when he was like, okay, I've got a budget of like 10,000, then, whatever. That's probably way too low. Harmonious Properties came in with like 5 other competitors, and all the competitors were saying like 15, 14, and Harmonious Properties was like 8, right? And so he is paying them to do the renovation.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he bought the property and is now paying Harmonious Properties to do the renovations on the property.
Yes. It just doesn't make how I was gonna frame this any easier.
Well, we're gonna go to a break, so you have a little bit of time to think about it.
Hey,
So
awesome.
we probably will, just to kind of give everybody a chance to think about it. We're gonna check in with Minrai first when we come back, and then we'll just go back up Spire essentially. So we'll go Minrai and then to Calvi and Barnabas, then to Sam,
Then me,
Ulrich,
yeah.
and then to Hennis. Will be the process. So
Awesome.
yeah, we'll say 8:20. Come back 8:20, 10:20 East Coast time.
Sure.
And we will pick up there. So I'm gonna do the thing with the buttons that I remember to mute.
Yay.
Everyone.
Lena believes in you, Sam. So.
All right. Yes, let's mute it. Okay, we are live, and
The women prefer when the stick is bigger than the
It's
popsicle.
tiny.
well, that's a big thing to say. Kind of sweeping generalization
Yeah, that's what I do for women.
about straight women. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Look at how small that's what we were talking about. Not like anything inappropriate.
Yeah, this is
Just
the
that the
size of
popsicle is
the stick of-
ridiculously small.
Yep. So, before we went live, Tyler had a question about game mechanics that I was just going to answer on stream. Hopefully, people can hear. Yes, did I do it? Did anyone check?
I mean, I can see
yeah, I
us,
think we're
but
back. Yep.
I'm not
Cool.
listening.
Great. Thanks. Okay, so
Sorry.
the question. No. That was scoffing at myself because
Oh.
I'm still very, as I said in chat, amateur at this whole streaming thing. So, all right. So the question was, how does occult and divine magic work? So in Spire, there are basically two magics. There are divine magic, which is, as you might imagine, divine, and there's occult. And okay, so first of all, the ability will tell you if it's occult or divine in the handbook or from the thing itself. And the short answer is, to do something that is divine magic, you basically just, there's like, it'll say like, take this much stress and then do the thing. To do abilities that are occult magic, you have to roll to see if you successfully pull off the occult spell at all. So you still take stress if you fail, but you also have the possibility of pulling it off without taking stress, whereas divine magic always gives you stress. So that's kind of the trade-off, is that if you do occult, it might just totally fail, but you also have the possibility of rolling a critical success, or even just like an 8 or higher, which would mean that you pull off the occult spell without taking any stress.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, Lena. You're a pal. Sorry, looking at chat. Okay, so we were going to start with Minrai. You have just left Marguerite's. What would you like to do?
So
At 228 Boundary.
I will
As a reminder, you were going to check in on Selvi and Zet if you still want to do that. You don't have to. I'm just reminding you that that was something on your mind.
do I know the other buildings that are around?
You've lived here for a while, sure.
Okay. And follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have a way to get messages to the library?
The library that you did your
That I did my
at.
durance at?
Remind me a little bit more about your durance, what it was like and all that. Like what you did
Yeah,
there.
sure. I know this very well, and I'm not looking at my thing. Okay. So cool. It's not here, but oh no, it is here. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Hey, did we ever talk about Briza Hunsrin?
Briza, she showed up last game for a few minutes.
Cool. All right. So I worked at the super cool library under a high elf.
Okay.
Who doesn't have a name.
Mm-hmm.
And during my time there, I was basically like a librarian.
Okay.
I assisted with like research and finding books and stuff.
Okay.
And I used my time there to research like the history of Drow and about, I have the academia domain basically. It's like I spent a lot of time researching about how the Drow have been like oppressed over time and how high elves are like the shittiest people on the planet and how I should hate all of them. And that's where I met Briza, who told me about her time in the Derelictus, and that's how I ended up coming down here to become a because I come from a family of midwives, but they're in like the middle tier. And she was like, Derelictus is like the shithole of like the planet. Like it's rough there. And so I was like, well, I want to make a difference. I got to go there.
Right.
And so that's how I ended up in the Derelictus. And yeah. And so
Okay.
basically, I was wondering if I could get a note or a letter reliably to maybe through Briza even to the high elf who I was under, asking if they would like an opportunity to research a specimen who has been contracted with the Viz. What is it called?
Vis.
This.
VYS.
Yes,
This is
Think of like visceral.
Kelvy.
This.
Poor Kelvy did not know what he was signing up for when he was like, "Let me
Not
just tell my
Kelvy.
roommates."
I'm not gonna get you killed. The idea is that I ask if they're interested, and if we need to disappear Neza, I can be like, "That's him, boss. Take him into your library dungeon to like experiment on him."
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 options
Library.
of libraries that you might have worked at. The first one will be a university library that would be in Amaranth at one of the universities up there. The second one would be a non-library or non-university library and would have been in, oh, what's it called? Let me find the name of it. It's the other kind of like major high elf, Ivory Row.
That one.
Wait, is that right?
It was
Yeah.
when I looked it up, it was supposed to be a like a private, like the one that's like the biggest private collection or whatever that was like in the book.
So you're thinking of a specific library.
Yeah. I'll open up the files.
Yeah,
My
open up the files because then I
brain.
don't know which one you're talking about.
I just gotta go find it because who keeps track of files?
Yeah. Okay.
You can cut away or just assume that I'm gonna like go help the gay people pack and like shoot the breeze with them and totally fall in love with them.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm just gonna search library. This will be easier than I thought.
Good luck. And
It didn't work.
Okay. Well, let me know if you find it. Otherwise, see, I'm inclined to say no. There isn't an easy way to send messages up Spire like that, especially.
What if I sent my friend who worked at the library, the same library as me?
I mean, you can talk to her about that. That's something you're going to have to ask her to do.
Okay, so it doesn't exist. I don't know what I read or where I read it, but you want to cut away and just assume I'm chilling with gay people and I'm like all living that lesbian life.
Okay.
That lesbian drug dealer life.
Yeah. Then I will look for exactly what I was thinking of.
Okay. Yeah, you tell me what you were thinking of because my look through of the libraries didn't get me something that pings me as like immediately what you were talking about.
I thought it was there.
Okay, then we will go to Kelvy and Barnabas. So Barnabas is listening in
So
at
I'm
the door.
listening, but I also wanted to like not send Sweet Pea forward, but kind of just have her like pace back and forth in the hallway, kind of a little bit menacingly to the receptionist who's totally noticing me. So.
Well, no, I mean you did successfully sneak, right? It's essentially
Right.
like you take the stress to shadow, saying like this was difficult for you to do, and like
Oh, okay.
would like raise suspicion. Maybe we'll say like narratively it comes more from like Neza like just being suspicious of you, right? And thinking
Fair.
like right, but like you do successfully sneak, right? You just take the stress to shadow.
Gotcha.
Which how many stress does that put you at? Just one?
1.
Okay. Then we don't have to roll.
I already had my fallout and Minrai ate it.
Yes. Okay. That got rid of because okay.
Right.
Yes. All right. So and then Kelvy in the room with Neza Day.
All right. Thanks for that. I didn't want the non-believer in the room for this. It's a little too sensitive for their ears. So I'm gonna just cut to the chase on this this project. It's doomed to fail. Now, be it will be a success. But you've had dreams. Other people have had dreams. I've had dreams about real bad shit coming from this. And above all that is something a little more immediate that I think you need to know. I'm gonna preface this. You know what durances are, right?
Of course. I didn't serve one. I'm human, but I've
Course,
lived in Spire my
course.
whole life. I've drow endurances every day.
You know what I did for my durance?
I don't.
I was a killer. My master would send me off to kill people. Anybody they needed. So doing a durance like that, you get connections. You know, people who are hireable. I have it on pretty good authority that these Viscant heretics have it out to you. I think that they mean to kill you. I tried to get. I was so glad that Barnabas had set up this meeting, because I knew whoever the hell was at the top of Harmonious Properties needed protection. Because, and then I'm going to use my ability.
Uh-huh.
And I want to make sure I quote this right. It's a man with a gun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Um,
God, I didn't know you took that one. That's amazing.
Yeah. When in doubt, have a man come through the door with a gun in his hand.
Yep.
Roll fight plus occult to cast this spell.
Oh my God.
If you succeed, a person with a gun of any ancestry or gender, it doesn't have to be a man, that's just the name of this spell, enters the room you're currently standing in.
Okay.
You don't get to say who they are, whose side they're on, or what they want, but you can guarantee that someone with a loaded gun will walk in the room as long as there's a reasonable entry point for them to walk through.
That's so ridiculous.
Great. Roll occult.
Do you want?
Wait.
Now I roll occult plus fight for that. Would I roll 2?
Yes. So are you
Okay.
skilled in fight?
Yes.
And you're skilled in occult?
Yes.
Okay, so you would roll 3d10 because you also get your base d10 plus your domain and your skill. So that's 3d10.
Here's hoping this works.
Oh,
Is it gonna
critical!
Nice!
Yes. So good.
That was a pivotal moment for it too. Is it going to come through the door that I'm pressed against?
Yep, Barnabas, you are standing at the door, listening in. You hear Sweet Pea and the receptionist both just like make alarmed noises, and a man with a gun just rushes past you.
But I have never seen Kelvy do this before.
No,
like,
I don't think so.
Okay, it's fair.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a drow man. He's wrapped up in the same kinds of wrappings most drow would wear up Spire, or high enough up Spire that there's sunshine. So face mostly covered, like goggles on to protect his eyes. And he charges into the room with a gun. God, I love this because I'm so like, how do I role play this like man that you summoned out of thin air? But you do.
Should I just? I feel like I would do something.
Yeah. But so your role inflicts stress on Neza because you rolled a 10. You inflict 1 stress on Neza. I believe Neza. Days ago, did Neza get stress inflicted? I don't think they did. So
I thought I might have had a success against them that did, but I don't remember.
I know that you inflicted a lot of stress against Rayan.
Right, but I thought I had something that I got Neza to agree to meeting me because I had a critical success. But I could be wrong.
Did.
Because I don't know that I would have convinced them otherwise.
Right. I think we said that they took a stress to mind at that point. Yeah, it was a stress to mind because you mentioned the bread and it seemed to disturb them. Okay, so they now have 2 stress. I'm going to roll we're gonna roll.
Can I ask a quick question about just mechanics of this?
Yep.
Is it that because he like summons this man with a gun,
Yep.
but just to come through the immediate door, so the guy should just like appear in front of me?
I mean,
or does he like come through the other door and then come through, you know what I mean? Like, because I think the thing is, it appear like, I don't know, I didn't read the spell, but like it bursts through the door that he is standing in. So would he just like appear in front of me before he bursts in?
I think that he essentially just comes barreling down the hallway through the door that Kelvie wants him to come through. And yeah, before, I mean, like, this is going to take you completely by surprise, right?
So I probably won't have time to react.
There's no time to react immediately following the casting of the spell. The guy with a gun does fire into the room and manages to land a shot on Neza. Oops, I need to actually type the right.
This is an insane skill.
It's an amazing ability.
And Neza takes 3 stress plus the stress you inflicted. So that's going to be, okay, let's see. 3
Neza
blood.
Neza Day dies.
2, so
also, I found
I'm
a
going to roll
library.
Fallout on...
It does exist. I'm not crazy.
3. I think... Oh gosh, we've rolled Fallout so infrequently that I'm like, what does it mean? I think it has to be higher than the stress, right?
Yeah, it's good if it's...
lower?
No, it's bad if it's lower.
It's bad. It's
bad if it's lower.
It means there's stress inflicted.
They have
fallout if it's lower.
Yeah, because then if they only had 2 stress, if they rolled below that, they would have to fallout because that's less likely. Yeah.
All right. So Neza has a total of 5 stress right now, and just took a gunshot wound. So they are going to take. Yeah, they take a moderate fallout from this because 5 stress. So they are. They're like knocked back. And they have like a gunshot wound now in their like shoulder, like it's not a killing blow, but it is bleeding out, and they start to like they're freaked out, panicking, like collapsed on the floor, like holding it and like kind of in shock at this point.
Their blood everywhere. Oh my god!
They're bleeding out. Yes, Barnabas
and they're one of the people.
Yeah, and there is still this guy in the room with a gun.
Great.
So can I
you
utilize the ability Lay of the Land?
Yep.
So when I enter a dangerous situation, I mean, does this technically count as dangerous?
Yeah,
I feel like it could go pretty badly for us.
Yeah.
I can name up to 3 things.
Okay.
The 3 features or opportunities that we could take advantage of.
Okay.
So I feel like we talked a little bit last time about like Barnabas is real fucking interested in this whole like blood shit that could infect you because that's kind of his whole steez.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna walk in and look and like maybe see like empty liquor bottles or some kind of like vial or something he could stop her, where he's gonna go under the guise of like rushing in to help, but is also going to collect some of his blood.
Okay. Yeah. So you get to name
really
3
curious,
things, don't you?
Yeah, do we need other things? I mean, I could also name bandages. I see a whole bunch of bandages in a first aid kit that's just kind of like tucked away in a very well labeled, of course, box that's sitting under the desk. That's very neat and perfect.
Neza follows every code.
Exactly. So there's perfect, there's like Neosporin and there's some like Bactine.
Fantasy Neosporin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then shit, I don't know what a good third thing would even be. It doesn't have to be 3 things, unless like we can think of a third thing that could possibly be useful.
Well, I'll let Kelvy act, and then you can name one more thing. Let's say on your next so-called turn. Like you don't get
Okay.
infinite time to name the 3 things, but we'll say by
Sure.
by your next turn, so to speak, you can name one more thing. All right. So Kelvy, the guy with the gun is like this guy. I don't think he fully knows why he's here with a gun. I think he rushed into the room, panicked, and shot, and is now just like, oh God, like just with the gun, just being like. Freaking out.
So I'm gonna take out my grappler pistol, aim it at this man, or and just say, "You know what you did," and then I'm gonna shoot.
All right, roll fight.
So do I roll 2 because I'm skilled in fight, right?
Yeah,
you're
skilled in
sacrifice a dude.
Yeah, you're skilled in fight. So roll fight. And the other your base D10, and then. Okay, a 9 is a success, no stress, which just like amazing, of course.
And my grappler pistol has the brutal tag, so I'll roll 2d6 and then take the highest.
Great. So 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you blast this guy with the gun. I'm gonna see what that is lower. So they
Oh shit.
They take fallout.
Damn.
Well, I think that they're just already so freaked out and panicked. Also, this person probably doesn't have much more resistance than 3 blood, right? Like this person is gonna go down fast. And they do collapse. Like you land basically a killing blow should this person not be tended to immediately. They're not dead, but they are down and they are bleeding out as well. Okay, yes. So Barnabas.
So yeah, I want to go and
collect the blood.
Collect the blood.
Are you trying to do this sneakily?
I want to do it at the same time that I like also bandage the wounds. You know what I mean? So I want it to be that I'm like going there to help him and being like, yeah, we'll get this taken care of, but then also wanting to sneak some blood.
Okay.
Okay, I have other questions. We can do this first.
Okay, I do think this would require a sneak roll for Neza not to notice.
Okay.
So roll sneak. If you're skilled in sneak, your D10, your base D10. And are you skilled in religion?
Yes.
I think this counts because this is technically a religion and it's close. Yeah, you're specifically investigating this for religious purposes, so that would be 3d10.
Okay. Hey, a 9.
A 9. Okay, so yeah, you successfully collect some blood while you bandage Neza, who is just freaked. I mean, like absolutely out of, and like the receptionist is like running down the hall and like, I mean, 2 gunshots, right? Like that woman is gone. She's out the front door. Yeah.
Yeah, my third thing that I noticed is a button I can hit that closes the bars on the door so she can't leave.
Ooh, this is hard because it's technically
like
your
a mall shopping center where you just hit the
Yeah.
button and like the gates come down in front of the. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what to do with that. This is weird because this is the first time really that we're using a lot of your abilities.
Right. And
So-
is there something like some kind of like, I don't know if they were cool and had like auto locks, like some kind of something to like
Right, to,
stop
like,
her from
keep
running
her
and getting
in.
somebody.
Yeah.
That
Trying
would
to,
be
like-
my third thought.
Yeah. I mean, I really like that idea. I think. I mean,
It seems like they're a creeper that they would have a button on their door, like on their desk that would just lock the door. But maybe I just think he's creepy. They're creepy.
Yeah. So this is supposed to be something that essentially grants you mastery on a single roll when
Okay.
you use. So you could say that there was something that would help you prevent her from leaving.
Okay.
And then you would have to take an action to actually prevent her from leaving. So does that make sense? Because like technically what the lay of the land does is it allows you to name like 3 things that you could take advantage of. And then if you take advantage of those things, then you get mastery on the roll. So I would say that there would have to be something that you could say like, I'm not sure that like a button that closes like doors.
That's fair. I
right?
was
I think that's a
definitely
little
looking
like too
for the-
advanced of like tech essentially.
Yeah.
But something else that you could figure out that would like in a way help you like keep her from running or something like that would be acceptable.
Like, could I say that I noticed something on her desk that like, or something in her interactions that she actually like cared about Neza Day, and I could try to implore her to stay and help?
Yeah.
Would that be a mechanic that could work?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I would yell after her that like, he's bleeding out, the gunman's down, we need you to help apply pressure.
Roll
Gonna die.
compel with mastery because you are asking her to stay somewhere where gunshots were fired.
That's 2, yeah?
Yeah, so you so
and
do you have
then
compel?
No.
Okay, so
I have compel, so
You can
I'd be able to
help.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so you
don't
get your
think
base
I do. I can
D10.
double check, but
You get your base D10, you get Kelvy's help, and you get the mastery. So that's
Okay.
3.
a 10.
A 10.
Shit.
Yeah, so technically you can inflict 1 stress additionally to somebody.
Oh fuck yeah.
I mean, I guess she is the target of your.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
I
this.
want to inflict some like stress of like anxiety, freak out stress on her mind or
Yeah.
something.
Okay, she takes 1 stressed mind. And she
Yeah.
does stay. She does not run out.
I also just wanted to ask really quickly,
Mhm.
and we don't have to do this on this turn because I've done a lot of things on this turn.
Mhm.
But I did want to, because you had said we had talked that I could like either inspect blood or smell it when it's out to know if it was infected.
Yes.
So as I went by the downed gunman, or like maybe at once I'm done doing this, I want to like tell if I can tell the man with the gun was infected or not.
So you can roll investigate with the occult domain. So if you
Don't
have
have that.
either of those, do you have investigate or occult?
Nope.
if
No.
I have
You know,
occult,
let's-
can I help with that?
And we
I
can
think
come
this
back
is
to
a-
it if it's too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, because I do
yeah.
think this is like specifically in your religion domain, right?
Right.
So we'll call this a religion investigate check. So if
Because
you
I
ever,
want, if this guy is already going to be dead, like
Yeah.
I would want to
right,
have Sweet
so
Pea
you
feed
can
if it were
roll
safe.
religion. Well, okay, so the skill is going to be investigate. The
Okay.
domain is going to be religion. So if you have either of those, you can add, and then
I
your
have
base
religion.
D10.
Yeah.
So you can roll 3d10, and you're investigating the gunman, right?
Yes, that's a 7.
Okay, so a 7 is a success at a cost, I believe. Yeah. So you will take stress for this. So, let's roll. I think this should be a D3. This is something you've been trained in due to your religion. So D3 stress.
Do you roll it or do I?
You roll it. You can roll it.
Okay, so
So
it's
/R.
Thank you.
Base D3. 2. So you're going to take 2 mind stress to do this. And determine that the man with a gun, the guy with a gun, is not infected. Kelvin,
Okay.
what are you doing?
Okay, I'll wait.
Is Neza still conscious?
Yes. Barnabas and the receptionist are kind of patching them up, and they are conscious but very injured. Very, very injured.
Got it. All right, so I'm going to go to Neza. That now that the threat has passed, thank this, and I fucking told you, you need to stop the project. You need to stop this, because if you die, then this whole thing of ours, it crumbles. You need to focus elsewhere, and we can't do that if you're dead.
This is my masterpiece. This is gonna be the greatest
The
temple.
masterpiece won't matter if you're dead.
Roll compel.
I feel like she has a gunshot wound in her shoulder, so he
They
should
have a
get this. They have a gunshot wound in their shoulder, so Kelby should get advantage, but there's no advantage in this.
Yeah, there's no advantage. There is difficulty, but I can't like do negative difficulty. You know? Although, like, I could like grant mastery or something, I suppose, as like an advantage mechanic. But
So I am skilled in compel. So I roll 2 then, right?
yes, roll 2.
All right. Let's see if this is where my luck runs out.
Oh my god.
Wow.
What even?
Okay, another critical success, which ironically means that they do take stress, which is not a good thing.
That is too good.
Yeah, too good. They are up to 3 mind stress.
They're just gonna die from the stress now. Like,
yeah, the stress is gonna kill them. I think they pass out. I don't think you get to know right now what the results.
Sure. No, that's fair.
We're gonna, we'll put a pin in that critical success to see where it brings us. Let's pop up to Ulrich.
I would have
Yes.
also, just really quickly, I would have invited Sweet Pea to eat. Like to eat the non-infected dude.
Oh yeah.
He
Real
was
quick,
dead.
also,
So like we would feed.
Yeah.
I
Like we would
figured
like
out what the
afterwards. Yeah.
library was.
Oh, you figured out the library? Cool.
Yes.
Which is what?
It's called
Sam.
the.
What page are you on?
Okay, so it's page 85.
Okay.
It is a university library.
This is the one that I was thinking of. Yes.
Yeah, it's called page 86, the
Yes.
Infinite Library.
The Infinite Library. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. It
Okay.
doesn't sound like a university library, but
it is. Okay. Yes. So interesting. I think that I don't think that the Infinite Library keeps Drow who did their durance there, like, in their, like, loop, you know? It's not to say you can't take advantage of your connection there at some point, but sending a message there would require you to do work to get the message there.
okay.
Like if you wanted to compel Breeza to go, if you wanted to, hire someone to go, etc., like, it would take an effort to get someone up there or yourself up there to get that. There aren't typical lines of connection between Derelictus and the Infinite Library.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind then.
Okay. Ulrich.
all right, okay. So before I get into character, everyone, I'm sorry.
Yes, good. I mean, Tyler let loose a man with a gun, so
I'm
so glad
do what
you
you
did.
will.
I'm so glad you did. That was fucking awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And now Sweet
Yeah.
Pea gets to feed,
And
so
now
I'm
Sweet-
very happy.
Sweet Pea gotta eat
I-
pea.
Yeah.
I took Barnabas and Sweet Pea out for lunch. It was great.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
treated your friend.
It was a good date.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right. So brief recap. Mr. Inglory had just gotten finished with asking me
What do you
does
and
this
he stand
do?
to gain?
Yeah. Mr. Inglory, I'm going to level with you and cut to brass tacks here. I was a bit hesitant to bring this up, and I'm not really sure what good it's going to do. But the apartment complex that Lord Faisal condemned, well, it's mine. It's the place where I commit my daily rituals. It's my sanctuary where I do all of Lamia's good and share it with the world. I can't live without that, and I don't know if the other Drow can live without that either. But I guess what this really means, like why I'm here today, because I can't expect you to do anything on your part about this, but I'm basically just trying to get your advice on what options I might have in terms of convincing Lord Faisal that buying out and attempting to renovate my property isn't in his best interests. It certainly isn't in Lamia's best interests, and definitely not mine. But maybe something else out there is. If you have no ideas, That's fine. This isn't the first time that I would have been let down by the higher ups, but
I mean, he's a high elf. Like,
Some sass.
yeah.
but if you have any ideas, any at all, just know I will be in your debt, and you know I repay my debts. And in fact, I would be overjoyed to point you in the direction of the property that is absolutely worth renovating and would definitely bring all of the credit that Lord Faisal thinks renovating my apartment would bring him.
Yeah, roll compel.
I don't have compel.
So this is
I was hoping I might be able to sneak religion in there.
well, the domain I think is gonna be
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Commerce, right? Because this is, well,
weirdly, I have low society and religion and not commerce, but
interesting. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
certainly not a low society role.
yeah, no,
Religion
absolutely
is
not.
a stretch. I mean, you are, but like, okay, the domains is really about like where or who you are talking to being
Okay, yeah.
relevant. So I think this is he's a commerce or a high society person. I think commerce even more than high society. I'm gonna do a luck roll.
Okay.
And if it goes well for you, I will give you.
Yes. So this is the second time you've given me a luck roll. Is that
Yeah.
a mechanic that's built in?
No, this is more of like for me
Okay.
deciding if something is going to play in for a character or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So I guess we'll call it a house rule. But yeah, this is, so basically what I was rolling for is like, how religious is Mr. Inglori? Like, is he compelled by a religious argument? So 7 was higher than my target, so we'll say yes, he is compelled, but you can roll religion as a domain. So you can roll religion, compel, and if you had commerce or high society, I would give it to you. So that would be,
don't have either of those things, so I'm rolling 2.
yeah, religion in your base then. That's a critical success.
Wow.
You guys are rolling a lot of crits. That's incredible.
Wow.
But it was almost.
Right, that would have been a critical failure.
If Mr. Inglori didn't have some soft spot for religion in his soul.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, Limia is a Drow deity, and he is not Drow. But we'll say that from your time working with him, you know him to be a fairly devout worshiper of the solar pantheon, which is the Aelfir deity set, who it's certainly encouraged for Drow to worship as well, and many do. But Limia is what is pretty much the only accepted Drow goddess among the Drow deities to still be allowed worship in Spire. So I think yeah. Okay. So you inflict stress with this.
God. Okay.
I know it's a weird mechanic, but I think what the purpose here is going to be is it's like it's mind stress. It's like you have affected him enough with your appeal of it being your home and where you worship and kind of practice your religion for the good of others. I think that affects him enough that like the stress to mind is what kind of moves him to be generous here.
Okay.
And he kind of sits back and like you see his eyes kind of flick up to over his door where you know he has the 4 solar pantheon like symbols kind of arranged in their like order of they're aligned with like seasons essentially of like summer, winter, etc. And you see him kind of like slump back and sigh and say, you know, Ulrich, it's not normal for someone of my station to take on Drow from their durance as more than just servants. I think I saw something in you, something about your devotion to your god that I always appreciated. And here's the thing. Faisal, he's always looking for something. And he flits from project to project. Whatever got him to buy property in Derelictus, that's not something people do. What got him to do that has to be more significant than just fleeting interest. Nobody buys property in Derelictus for fleeting interest. I don't know what. I don't know how. I don't want to buy down there. I'm not interested in the other property, but
So this definitely came across to you as strange and like definitely like not normal for someone of his stature.
no, not normal for any Aelfer in their right mind. I think the man is something got to him if he's buying property in Derelictus. I don't know what. He might just be an idiot, but even his fleeting interest has never led him there before. And property in Derelictus is always cheap. People could buy property in Derelictus if I could buy your house tomorrow. It's cheap because nobody wants it. So why did he want it? I don't know. But I'm telling you, if you look into that, I think you'll find there's more there than just fleeting interest. I also think...
So you think it's a bit of a foregone conclusion, like I can't convince him otherwise?
Well, if you wanted to convince him otherwise, you would need to know what his deeper motivation is. There is little... His interest may be fleeting, but I don't think this is something he'd give up on easily. And I think if you were to approach him without all of the information, without everything that you can gather before you go, you wouldn't stand a chance. Man has his fingers in this pie. Why? If you don't know the answer to that, you're not going to change his mind.
Right. I mean, I have my suspicions, but honestly, I guess I'm just gonna have to do some more digging.
I'll ask around. What? I don't know. I don't know what I can do for you, but you've made a case to me today, and I feel generous, I guess. And I will look into it a little. I'll send you a note.
All right. And again, I am in your debt, and you know, if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
Well, Ulrich, it was good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mr. Ingelory. And
Now.
cut scene.
Cut scene. All right. Yeah, so Mandu is just waiting back at the bar. And it's up to you kind of what you want to do there. Let's see, it's 9 o'clock. I think we have to stop. Sorry, Andrew, that we didn't get to see. But I'm trying not to go super late. So we will pick up with Hennis up at the very tips of Amaranth to tomorrow, whatever, next week.
Hey, but we made it up Spire.
You made
today.
it up Spire. Yeah, we got through the afternoon. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to call it good there. Let's see, is there anything else we need to do before we call it? Tune in tomorrow.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Yes. Thank you. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream, and it was great. To see everyone. I mean, we'll still talk You know, you guys just
Yeah.
sit still. I have to find my notes about what the buttons are again because I keep putting them somewhere else. One day I'll learn them. Galway's like, just use these buttons. It's intuitive. I'm like, All right. Good night.
Bye.